Hey guys, it's Gaia, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm currently in second year studying psychology with criminology at Nottingham Trent University.
I'd like to think I study at NTU if I'm doing a video on NTU, but hey.
If you don't already know me, you may kind of recognise me from, if you type in Nottingham Trent into YouTube, you will probably find me. If you find this video useful, I also have a university playlist that you can access up here. I'll put like a card up here, it should flash. If you watch me regularly, you'll notice that today I have a different background, and that is because, as everyone knows, we are currently in a global pandemic. Honestly, this is the first day in many weeks since I've been home here that I've even put makeup on. Like, hell, this is even the first day that I've put a bra on. Like, I'm putting in effort. However, because of COVID-19 and the kind of UK lockdown, prospective students can't currently view unis and kind of go to open days. I asked people on Instagram what kind of videos they wanted, and a lot of people asked for this one. If you don't follow my Instagram, I will include a thing here. Sorry for the shameless self-plug, but if you want updates on when I upload and what I will be uploading, go follow it. So today I am going to spill the tea. Also, don't hate on the fact that it says I'm the future Mrs. Louis Tomlinson, okay? I got this when I was 13, and yes, that was in my One Direction phase. I still am in my One Direction phase, but we don't need to go into detail about that. Also, yes, that is Niall Horan on my wall. I do have a One Direction poster on my door that I have not moved in about 8 years. So today I'm actually going to spill the tea on what NTU is actually like and my own experiences of the uni. If I do look down, it's because I've got my laptop in front of me because I've written a lot of stuff out. If you already go to the university and you stumbled across this video, then hi there. This video still might interest you because you'll recognise the several NTU references I'm about to make. So please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let's try to get this video to say 20 likes today. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. If you know other people who are going to NTU, other prospective students, please tell them about my channel. I have loads of other videos on there to binge. Comment down below if you'd like me to do a similar video to this, like another NTU themed. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So today I'm going to cover 4 areas of the NTU experience. So as I said, I study psychology criminology. Because it is a combined honours course, I do 50-50 of each subject, for my modules. And last year I had a bit more of criminology, and then this year I've had a bit more of psychology, but it is quite kind of even. Obviously at the moment everything is online, but normally I would have about 12 contact hours of a mixture of lectures and seminars. As it's the end of the year, most of my lectures and seminars have finished anyway because it's gearing up for exams, but normally my contact hours would consist of 70% lectures and 30% seminars. Lectures can be 1 to 2 hours long, whereas my seminars normally they're 1 hour, but I have a really nasty research methods lab which is 3 hours long, and honestly guys, it just drags. And when I say drags, I mean it drags. That is one of the things I don't like about my course, the fact that we have to sit down for so long. I'm really kind of hoping we don't have that next year, even though I feel I'm not even wanting to think about third year because that idea terrifies me, knowing that I'm actually going into third year next year, even though I look like a first year and I sound like an 8-year-old. I'd say my experience with NTU overall, I've kind of found most of the teaching staff helpful. There are a few of them obviously that do know the topic a bit more than others, or a bit more helpful than others. I can do a separate video on how my course has changed due to COVID-19, how my assessments have changed as well. For example, some of my exams, obviously I can't sit my exams in the same way anymore because of social distancing, and when we're not allowed to all be in the same sports hall. Please comment down below if you'd like that. Thankfully we can email teachers and lecturers my course, they are quite responsive. Before I moved away for isolation, I normally am based in the city campus, and thankfully I live 4 or 5 minutes away from the Boots Library, which is our library for the city campus. The Boots Library has about 4 or 5 floors. It depends if you count the 4th floor and the rooftop garden as the same floor. And like I said, it has a rooftop garden, so you can access so many resources when you're there and still sit out in the sun. It is a very good library and it's very modern, and we have a Starbucks as well. I don't really use the Starbucks because I don't ever really go in the library, but we also have a bookshop, I think. It's just opened this year, but again, I don't really use the library. However, basically Thankfully, because I am situated in the city, I have to share the library with thousands of other students. For the people who are watching this video and currently go to NTU, you will appreciate, you know, when I say you can never find really a space in the library. It's just very rare, which is why I end up just going home to work. For me, I found, even though it is a great library, I can't always access it just because other students. I actually quite like our student union. It's one of those—
Could you say the A building?
It's one of those buildings that, like, it looks quite small from the outside, but when you're inside, it's really spacious. Like, there's like different levels and stuff, so you have loads of spaces to work that are quieter. We also have a few bars in the SU, and it also has its own like club night. The climax on Saturday night, and then you can go to like First Base and like Quids Inn, which are like kind of pre's for like Rock City and like other kind of, I think, for like Ocean. However, they do also serve food throughout the day. You can go sit down and work while having a hot meal. Also, seating areas that are in the SU, they overlook the gym that is attached to the SU. So yes, you can non-creepily watch other people play sports. For me, this is the closest I will get to actually playing that sport since I am the least athletic person you will ever meet. They also have like a tram service that Nottingham City Council have a tram service that like operates throughout the city, and like there's a stop outside Nottingham Trent Uni. You could literally get a tram from City Campus to Clifton Campus. Also, there's a stop for the station, Nottingham Station, so I could literally get a tram straight from my house to the station if I need to leave, if I need to go home or something, which is just really great. Next topic, accommodation. So for first year, you have the option to live in halls. I stayed in Gill Street South for my first year, which was one of the most popular ones and also most expensive. I paid £155 a week.
Stay calm! Wait, everybody calm down!
But I was paying for like nicer things such as an ensuite and like slightly smaller flats. I shared with 8 other people compared to some people who had to share with 24. If you lived in Sandby, for example, the one across from Gill Street South, you had to live with 24 people and you had to share like 2 kitchens, like communal spaces, and they were small kitchens. Like they were smaller than my Gill Street South kitchen, which was for 8 people. So I think NTU kind of needs to rethink that. Because from what I saw with my mates, it just didn't work. We're gonna get to the reality of actually living in Gill Street South. So for me, Gill Street South wasn't actually that bad. I hated the fact that it had a wet room though in my ensuite, because when you'd have a shower, the whole floor would just be like completely wet, like it just go everywhere. And I had a shower curtain as well, and it still just went everywhere. The amount of times I would forget that, you know, the floor was still drying, I'd go walk in to go grab something and my socks would be just soaked. Also, even though Gill Street South was much smaller than Byron, which I think hosts like 900 people, compared to Gill Street South, which had like 360, around that mark, it still wasn't fun sharing the block with like 360 people, because you would always hear people above and below you no matter what time it was. And that wasn't the greatest when people would be having Friday night flat parties when you needed to wake up for your morning work shift. I called him Thunderhips. I'm guessing it was a guy who was, I think, above me. Let's just say you could hear that person's activities most nights. I don't know what he was doing. Well, I think you probably know what he was doing. I didn't want to think about what he was doing. But this was just relentless. I could just hear constantly. I mean, fair play to him, but I did not really want to go to sleep listening to that, and it was quite regular. Again, I applaud him for, you know, that consistency. My accommodation was self-catered. I think all NTU accommodations are self-catered, unlike uni of. Thankfully, as like a result, I never really had massive issues with Gill Street South as like an accommodation, apart from probably the day I broke my blind, which was the last day of term. One other issue I had with Gill Street South was probably the security team. They weren't always like the most helpful, and they just weren't very tactful. Like I remember there was this one time when I went, I think it was Christmas, you have to go down and sign for your parcels, and I think one time I'd ordered like 10 little gifts around the same time. They weren't even that big really, they were quite small. They were like probably like, you know, like my mug size kind of like parcels. And I remember going down and signing for them, and literally, no joke, I got to the desk and I was like,
"Hi, you know, this is my flat number, can I collect my parcels?"
When the guy realised the amount of parcels I had, he literally turned around and was like, "Well, you're a bit of a greedy git, aren't you?" And like, no joke, those were his words. And I was a bit like, okay. I mean, like, fair enough, it wasn't like the worst thing he could have said to me, but I was a bit like, that's not exactly the most professional, really. It's my personal like decision if I buy a certain, you know, amount of parcels at a certain time. It was Christmas, so I do have justification, like I was buying presents, but I didn't really find it professional and it just sort of took me back a bit, and I was like, right, okay. But like apart from that, I didn't really have that many issues like about the accommodation, probably because I lived in one of the nicer accommodations. If you don't get into the halls you want, you can also like look into private accommodation or houses, which a lot of my friends did. It is quite a popular choice. A lot of my friends stayed at the Glass House or Student Roost, which is like this kind of company that has like multiple student like accommodation buildings that are kind of dotted literally around NTU, so it's actually like a 5-minute walk. But I'm just hoping that sort of helps give you a bit more of like a realistic idea about what accommodation is like. Again, if you have any more questions, link them down below. Okay, so next section, sports, which is a bit smaller because, as I already said, I don't do sports really. You can get an NTU membership for I think £110 a year or £220 for 3 years, which they kind of like, it's a deal they kind of do in September when you first join. I'm so thankful now that I didn't actually get the NTU membership because I would not have used it. I think I've been to the gym probably twice in my time at NTU, and those were like for the fitness classes, but I'm pretty sure those are like £5 if you aren't a like member like me, or it's free if you are a member. I found them really good as well. We have a bigger gym, I think, and sports hall in Clifton campus. From what I've been told, it's really good. Like, one annoying thing that I don't really like about NTU is that we don't have a pool here, so if I want to go swimming I have to, I think we can go to Uni of, but we have to pay like £2 or something. But then again, I don't really want to have to trek over to Lenton and Beeston to like go, so it's just a bit frustrating. I feel like NTU should really invest, I don't know where the hell they'd put it, but I really feel like they should invest in a swimming pool. The last section, nightlife. Nottingham is known for its nightlife. When I say known, I mean known. I knew coming to NTU that I would have amazing nights out, and let me just say, Nottingham does not disappoint. You have a bar or a club for every genre of music and every kind of like vibe. Obviously most unis do this, but there's specific student nights throughout the week, so you know, you can get cheaper drinks, and I think you can even get like free entry. Like I know Rescue Rooms is free entry on a Tuesday with 2 for 1, and also you get free donuts. Who doesn't love a free donut? However, there's also like specific days that like certain universities can go on. Like on Wednesdays I can't go to Rock City because it's Uni of Nottingham's Crisis Night, whereas Uni of students can't go to our Ocean Wednesday nights, which are nights where societies and clubs of NTU get to dress up, and just, it's a really mad night. It's a very, very messy night. I've been to Ocean twice, I think. I really want to go more. I have a 9 AM the next morning, and unfortunately it's for stats, and I actually need to go to stats because I don't get maths. If you would like to see one of my trips to Ocean, let's just say, including the bar crawl and stuff, I did go during Freshers Week last year. I did a video on that when I first started my channel, so if you'd like to see that, click on the link above. Honestly, there's something for everyone, and I've never really had much complaints. The bouncers aren't always the greatest. You kind of have to be careful though, because like Nottingham bouncers are like notoriously very good at like kicking people out just for like really silly reasons. One thing I love a lot about NTU is like being able to access the Nottingham nightlife. If you know me well enough, you know that I do love a good Rock City night. As a result, like Nottingham nightlife is just so fun. So my overall thoughts, I'm sorry again if this video is very long. Overall, I haven't really found them the greatest recently because it took a while for NTU to close and put all lectures online with COVID-19. Again, it took a while for them to actually like update us on like everything, and I know it must take so much like time and effort to like completely revamp the course for us and the modules and like how the exams are set, but like I wish they'd given us a bit more information, because they kept like promising that they'd tell us by a certain date and then they'd push that date back, and I didn't really find that very helpful. I also don't like the fact that at the start they didn't do like a no detriment policy. Recently now it's been passed, so that means that if any work I do since the pandemic has started, if I, you know, do worse in it than I normally do, it won't affect my grade properly, which is good, but like it took some time to actually like get implemented, and a lot of students like myself have felt quite lost because NTU haven't really been as informative as we wanted them to be. I don't know, it's because NTU like to kind of compete with Russell Group unis or something, but I didn't really like that. But apart from that, my first year was quite hard at NTU, but that wasn't because of NTU, it was because of kind of stupid like personal issues, which I've sort of like hinted at throughout this channel. I can't fault their support system, their like student support system enough. They have helped me so much. well, I can't really fault some of the student support services that were offered to me. Some of them were like really helpful with my mental health and I'm just so grateful. However, there were a few of them, like the warden service, that didn't really help me when I did have issues. I didn't like the fact that sometimes they just discarded like cases and just were like, it's not that deep. So kind of bear that in mind if you ever report something. Sometimes it doesn't always get dealt with the right way you want it to. I think I'm gonna leave it there really. I think I've kind of just touched on like all aspects of how I've kind of found uni and how I found NTU, giving you a bit more information about what it's actually like, sort of. It's weird to say I actually miss Nottingham and I miss NTU and actually miss dragging myself to these lectures. Like I do think I took them for granted. Again, I'm really sorry if this was a very long video. Thank you. If you did get this far in the video, please comment this emoji. Let me know that there are some people out there who are actually watching to the end. I'm sorry if you didn't really like the fact that this was a sit down chatty video, but I felt like it kind of needed to be done. I'm going to probably do more videos on this subject, so again, if you want more of this, let me know. I'll leave several links from my uni playlist down below and other useful videos on my channel that you might like. Thank you again for watching, guys. Please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means the world. I'm probably going to leave it there because this is getting very long and this is going to take a pain to edit. Thank you for listening to my honest tea about NTU and how I found it. I don't know if I'll be back next week. I hope so. Depends on my essays and deadlines. But thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. If you don't know, oh my god.